They thought they had banished us forever. But now, finally, we have returned.
Hello and welcome to the chat. Always a pleasure to see you. Anyway, I have to bring in my lovely guests first off.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, always a pleasure.
Always.
Yep, very pleasurable indeed. Anyway, allow me to bring in our resident Wolf Boy prequel defender.
This cannot be.
Unfortunately, two things. One, I don't have the shotgun because it was a rental, and two, I have a bunch of shotgun shells running around. Who wants them? They are definitely not. They are definitely not rigged to explode.
Yeah. I have no response to that.
Hello, everybody. And there's there.
Yeah.
Okay, something's annoyed me. I will talk about it after the stream, though, because it's off topic.
Unfortunate. Okay, I just put the link in the Discord. Should be Discord. This should be interesting. So far, we don't have anybody watching, but that's okay.
Ouch.
If you guys could share it around, that'd be great. I
really do need to ask it out. I do need to ask Emily what is the rules for like shielding other people's streams, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But while you're doing that, allow me to bring.
He's offline though.
Oh, unfortunate. Well, I'll share it, I guess, in like Mahler's Discord and Smudboy's Discord. I know I'm okay to promote there. There's like actual promotion things there. Allow me to bring in the other two. Please welcome.
Oh, hail Christopher Lee. That's all I need to say.
Yes, all hail Christopher Lee.
Yeah, R.I.P. That great man.
He's not dead, done. He's just recuperating in his coffin.
This is also true. He is indeed.
He's using the power of epic metal to reverse his age so that way he can return to the world as a new person.
All right, so we need the budget destroyer in now.
Indeed. Well, thankfully, this budget has. I've figured out a way to give him both a good budget, but also a epic entrance, since he has evolved as a person, or evolved as a eldritch beast.
That was so dumb.
Lovely, yes?
Okay, yeah. That entrance was a lot cheaper than usual.
Oh, someone's actually in the chat now, sorry.
Becca.
Hello, Becca. Always a pleasure. Sorry.
Welcome, our minions.
Sorry, I apologize. Your boyfriend could not be here.
He's not her boyfriend. He's her husband. I was there for
Hmm.
I wasn't there for the wedding because I was not given an invitation.
Yeah,
We didn't want you to crash it, so sorry.
Crash it? How was I going to crash it?
Yeah, they
Listen, just because
snubbed us.
Listen, just because I was going to bring rice to the wedding doesn't mean I was going to unleash it on the pigeons or something.
Yeah, they snubbed us.
Yeah.
Really, what?
Dear.
They can't show me a country club.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Alrighty, well, this is going to be... Yeah.
Ouch! Burn!
Get wrecked.
Get
gonna be
wrecked. Get wrecked, my dudes. Get wrecked.
Let's see.
Alrighty. Well, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be like, I think that we're going to come to our I think pretty much the same conclusion. I in terms of the movie's enjoyability. But I definitely think there are some
Okay,
problems
hold on.
with the plot.
Why do you think I
and-
say wrecked, mate?
Hmm.
Wait, hell, did you say something mean about me behind my back? Why couldn't you say it to my face like a normal human being?
Oh, she said it to us. She said it to your face.
Yeah.
Hey, careful.
Oh, no,
Wolf.
I mean the
He-
wrecked. No, I meant the wrecked mate comment. What the hell was that supposed to mean? What was the context behind that?
Okay, eventually
better-
we'll get on top of it.
So
Careful,
she
Wolf.
just said
You-
that she wrecked you.
Oh, ha ha! You hurt my feelings. I need to go into hiding now and cry while listening to Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Why get this? No.
No, no, that's too tame. Crawl in here.
Maybe
Yeah.
talking about the film will make you feel better.
I'm already feeling better, actually.
It should.
See?
So, I'll actually go last. So, thoughts before and after the movie. Neph, you first, then Wolf, then Dragon, then Count Valerian. And his would probably be his expectations, and then how his expectations were either verified or subverted.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Calm down, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thoughts on this movie. I enjoyed it going in, but it is definitely the weakest of the three films. And I still say that this trilogy should have been what was it? Tetralogy or what was it? Tetralogy, yes. A tetralogy instead of a trilogy. Because there is only...
Like in episode 0.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding Anakin should have been episode 0. And then the Clone Wars should have been episodes 1 through 3.
Mhm. Okay. I actually have been toying with the thought, and I'll ask what you guys think of it after we get everybody's thoughts. Wolf, thoughts before and after the movie.
My thoughts were pretty much going to be the same as because I knew I liked this, despite the fact that I had not seen this in like years.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I came out saying, yeah, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times where I did have to shout during the movie because you guys would not stop talking during the epic moments.
Mm-hmm.
Which really says something if I'm the one that has to tell everybody to be quiet.
Yeah.
That's the nature of commentaries.
Yeah, that's true.
You couldn't even stay silent for the frickin' pulse bomb scene.
The only time we have to stay quiet is when Christopher Lee is talking, but unfortunately that also happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Christopher Lee.
And my thoughts after the film was, I still have the same opinion going into it.
Okay. Cool. White Dragon.
Honestly, I had a lesser opinion before the movie started, and then after I watched it, I felt like it was a lot better than I remembered it being.
Mm-hmm.
It was certainly maybe because it was all those Mulder and EFEP videos and that especially that EFEP with Anomaly Inc.
Yeah.
kind of poisoned my opinion of the movie, but now I was like, yeah, this is not as bad as I thought it was.
I think that they are actually right in some ways, but the movie is definitely entertaining enough to kind of make you forget that there are some pretty hefty plot problems and setups, but it's entertaining enough.
Yeah, and Christopher Lee obviously is a good point. Obviously the bombs. What was it? What was the bomb called again?
Seismic charges.
Yeah, seismic charges were. That was a quite interesting choice. Never thought about that when I first watched that movie back in the day.
Yeah.
The ship design has always been great about these movies. The sound design is also unique to this particular trilogy, even compared to the original trilogy.
Okay. So, Campbellarian, your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I didn't necessarily have terribly high expectations of it, so it was a fun watch, and at least there was enough clarity of what was going on in terms of Padme and Anakin and things like that, and Anakin getting angry and his mother dying and things like that were clear enough. I mean, there were a lot of things I didn't understand what was going on, and I'm guessing that those pertain to the plot problems. I mean, what's Count Dooku doing exactly, besides looking and sounding cool? What's he doing precisely and things like that? Also, I remembered bits of it from Darks and Droids, which was different from what, needless to say, it was a bit different. So, I like the visuals are in some places are spectacular.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think that this is a very fun movie, but the basic setups and the continuation of the clone plot has a lot of like broken pieces. And we'll get into that later, but I think that this is fun enough, but I have to kind of like turn my brain off at points with Attack of the Clones, because I'm just like, otherwise I'll be like, okay, this setup doesn't make sense. Okay, George, could you fill in some of these gaps? Nope. Okay. Well, fun enough ride. Let's keep going.
Who's eating?
And that's that's part of the reason why I think this should have been a tetralogy.
Yeah.
I was about to say that. Whoever's eating, please mute whenever you eat. I don't like people chomping in my ears.
Would you kill me if I said I liked the film? I enjoyed the film more than Phantom Menace.
No. I enjoy the film more. I enjoy Attack of the Clones far more than Phantom Menace.
Hey, Blair, you mind if I said to me or just real quick, I'd like to give you a present. It's a cake. I swear it's not filled with shotgun shells.
Oh well, that would just give me more power anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's every mention that they're all dragon stone.
Yeah. So I actually was thinking, would the prequels have been better as a TV show rather than a trilogy?
Yes.
Maybe.
Like a Game of Thrones budget and style, maybe.
Well,
as in a high budget trilogy.
It would work more as a mini series.
Yeah,
like maybe like
George
5 episodes.
George definitely needed more time.
Yeah. And also, like, TV shows are a little bit more collaborative, I think. Kind of, and he would have been able to flesh out a lot of like the stuff that like is very unclear, like what the Trade Federation's motivations are, what exactly is like some of like the really weak world building in Phantom Menace. Flesh out some of Anakin's training.
We don't see him do any training in any of these movies.
And the politics, you could like develop the politics. The politics are interesting.
I would say the training part isn't really all that necessary.
Not really, but I would have liked to see him, say, in
I would like to see him kind of demonstrate how much power he has since.
Yeah, we don't
Since-
really get to see that. Or,
Yeah.
well, maybe once he's been knighted, have a scene with him teaching a class of students like we see with Yoda in this one.
You have to be a master in order for that to happen.
Yeah. So
No,
I'm
actually.
joking on that part.
But yeah.
yeah, I honestly would like to see, like, since Anakin is supposed to be the chosen one, he's supposed to be like this immensely powerful Jedi. I would like to kind of see him like have mostly what we see from him is basically moving small objects and like using a lightsaber pretty well.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him I'd have liked to see him do something close to what Dooku did in his fight with Yoda against some of the battle droids. Personally,
Yeah, the politics lend itself to I guess the politics. I didn't even think of a miniseries, but the politics, I guess, lends itself better to a miniseries or something where you can develop it over time versus where you've only got like a couple of hours. So, like Game of Thrones kind of thing. If you'll pardon me for mentioning that blasphemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of, because I think TV show would work well, because one of the things about a movie is that like the politics in the prequels kind of comes at you, like, and is kind of like the movie stops for a second and then goes back to the plot after the politics is finished.
the politics is supposed to be important to the plot, but you're right. Yes. It doesn't really feel as if it's connected.
Mm-hmm. Partially because like it doesn't flow into the climax.
Yeah.
And like it does need to be there, but it's kind of inserted into the plot in a very
it feels shoehorned.
I don't know if shoehorned, but it kind of feels mismatched. Like the pacing is slightly mismatched.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe not integrated.
Yeah, not integrate. It's not as integrated well. Like on its own, it's an okay scene, and they're using like pretty good vocabulary. Like I'd be cool if like kids were asking, Dad, so what does that word mean? I was like, okay, that word mean this. It's like, oh, okay. I think that's fine, and I think the kids can at least get people can get the gist of it. Since of course this is indeed.
This is a film about space wizards intended for children.
I mean, considering the reaction people had to just Apollos being a movie, we have to be. It's like,
yeah,
you get my point.
I'm all for. Pardon me. I was just going to say I'm all for expanding vocabulary, and having them guess words or look them up or whatever. That's what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think that the politics, since I think that part of it is just like there's politics in the OT, but they're integrated into the flow of the story a little bit better.
Yeah, they're much better integrated.
So I think that maybe like that's the reason why people did not like the politics, is because the politics didn't really flow into the plot of the individual movie they were watching. The prequels do work better as like a large piece than single installment movies. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of hurt, because it's kind of like there's with Phantom Menace, you're kind of being thrown into a lot of things, whereas Attack of the Clones, it's fairly simple to set up. You got a murder assassination plot for the first 20 minutes, and then you have the investigation splitting, and then a guy goes off to date a girl, all under the guise of giving her protection.
Well, yeah.
This is technically completely counts for that. They saw that coming, but they didn't say anything.
Which is kind of just like, Council, you're dumb. Why would you do this?
Yeah, or well,
Considering on the fact that mostly 90% of everybody already are aware of Anakin and Padme's relationship, it really comes as no surprise.
I think that they would try to have an intervention. They would try to have an intervention. At least, like, that seems like that would be logical to me. Like,
well, one of my thoughts on that actually is that I thought once Obi-Wan found out where they were supposed to go, like where the investigation needed to go to find out more, is that he should have handed it off to another pair and then go with Anakin to Naboo to keep an eye on him.
yeah, probably. So now that we've kind of gotten to, we'll talk about the good stuff first, I think. Or should we talk about the good stuff first, or talk about the plot? Kind of the problems of the movie first. What do you think?
If we talk about the good stuff last, I think we'll have a happier ending.
Yeah,
better mood.
Let's go with the bad first.
Okay. So I put up all of the things that I think are at least like kind of shortcomings of the movie in terms of like logical cause and effect problems. So I think that like I understand that the bugs are an homage to stuff like Dr. No and things where you put a poisonous snake or something like that inside of a house.
It's supposed to be an untraceable assassination attempt.
Well, the thing is, a blaster is also
a blaster is loud as well.
And the blaster bolt leaves an ion trail.
Yeah. Well,
is that ever explained in the movie? I feel like they just came out of nowhere.
Well,
it's like with lightning.
Wait, this is a lot of inference.
What if the bugs or snakes just didn't bother to attack her?
No, the blaster bolts are plasma, and plasma leaves a trace in the atmosphere. This is scientific information.
Yeah,
there is no inference.
It is traceable. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. That works. That's true.
But what if they just didn't bother? What if they got sidetracked?
Yeah. Maybe it's just she's the only warm flesh in the room, so they thought, oh.
Yummy.
I got more
questions. Blinders, actually. If you actually look at the blinders, it's going to be hard to get actually an accurate shot.
We're really digging in.
I don't know, actually. If they're not seeing... Well, the thing is, the droid... If the droid just kind of has like a scope that they slide through, and then and all they need is a camera to see, okay, is that actually Padme through like facial recognition or something, since I imagine like that's pretty logical that they would have it. The movie's over. The movie's over or at least like it would have to be very much changed.
Yeah. I mean, if it did shoot her
technically speaking, there actually is no such thing as remote control in Star Wars.
Well, I didn't say remote control. I just said facial recognition.
Dead Chap was talking.
Yeah, for the blinders. That's going to be kind of a hard thing to spot.
Dead Chap was talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they could be traced, but like, why? Just the droid? I mean, I'm having a hard time putting these words together. So so it's not a good idea just to shoot it and then have the droid just explode, just self-destruct or something like that.
They can salvage the data from the destroyed records. They have to actually manually purge the data first.
Then shouldn't put that much data on the thing to lead them back to Jango Fett in the first place.
Thing is, though, it doesn't lead back to Jango. It leads just right back to what was her name again? Zam?
Yeah.
It leads back to Camino, and it just so happens that Jango Fett was there at the time.
Yeah.
Why would the droid lead them back to Camino if it just exploded?
The poison. Okay, so the poison darts. I have my own problems with why that happened. With that, that is very contrived. We'll get to that in a minute. I actually think that making Zam a shapeshifter was a bad idea. Is they're mostly for cosmetic reasons rather than plot reasons.
It does actually expand upon the world building because they're like, oh, that's a race that exists in Star Wars.
Yes, but it introduces some problems. She could basically just pull a Invasion of the Body Snatchers type plot where she just goes in and slowly works up to Padme's thing, kills, maybe like replaces one of her handmaidens or something, gets in, puts poison in her drink, either poisons her, taps her with a poison dart, or shoots poison dart, that sort of thing.
She's also royalty at the same time, so they would implement measures to ensure that that poison wouldn't be something that would be the last thing they try to think of.
Okay, well, I mean in terms of you could just prick somebody with something poisonous rather than putting it in your food, or just like place like.
There's also the fact that Jedi can sense intention.
So this is going off of the assumption that they don't know about the Jedi, and so it's just kind of like there is just like a lot of things where I'm just like, this is, I just, I guess like it's just like, since she's a changeling, it kind of doesn't really. It's there for aesthetic purposes only, and that's kind of frustrating that you kind of introduce somebody who is a shapeshifter.
And then you don't use it ever again.
Okay, and more like I know that kind of race is the changeling thing.
They're called Claudites.
The Claudites. So since she's a changeling, so I have a question. So is it fine to count like Clone Wars stuff, since her race of aliens is able to shapeshift into other people in that?
Anything that's close to their shape. So humanoids do count.
Yeah. So
one thing, are we bringing expanded material into this discussion?
I'm not sure. I just think that like maybe just like saying like that particular race is, since it said they're changelings.
Good.
So I don't know.
Because how I'm doing this, I'm just going this off movies alone.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I think that like going off of the movies alone would probably be best. But it's just like this isn't really established in the movie. It just says she's a changeling, but changeling could mean that she can make herself look however she wants. So it's kind of like, and in kind of that's like more, I guess, clarified in the Clone Wars, I suppose, but it's just clarified.
There is such thing as a disguise kit in Star Wars, so yeah, there is a way to disguise yourself using technology.
Yeah, Obi-Wan did that in one episode of the Clone Wars, but I don't think that that was the case for the Claudite assassin but
no, in her case, she is a straight up changeling.
Yeah, she's a straight up shapeshifter, you mean? Yeah. So one of my issues with this is basically just that there seems to be a lot of things at Jango Fett's disposal in order to get this assassination done, but he kind of goes with a riskier idea because there could always be a double in that room, and then he'll have wasted his then they'll have wasted their shot.
Her body double is already dead.
How do you know
That's
she doesn't
the
have
thing.
20 more?
Yeah.
Well, they could, since she does have another spare.
All the way on Naboo.
Well, there's still
It's
the
a
rose
lot of
burn.
friends.
No, I'm talking about in the movie. Like she has another handmaiden with her.
But here's the
They look
question:
similar enough.
is that handmaiden specifically trained to be her body double?
Well, I don't think she would need to be trained in order.
No, you have to be trained because there are
Yeah,
actually
you have to be trained in order
where
to
this
do
person's
that.
actually who they say they are. There's there's your body language, your mannerisms, the way you speak.
Hold on a minute. Well,
these are minute details that assassins are specifically that assassins pay attention to ensure whether this is their target.
Well,
just having the same face is not going to be fucking enough.
I don't know how that helps you in this particular instance.
Yeah, she was just sleeping, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could still be involved if you're asleep.
Okay, here's another thing. If the robot can tell that it was a different person, then it would know. Because this is going back to the whole blaster thing again.
No, that wasn't what it was doing. All it was supposed to do was to deliver the worms. That's it.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have known it was a decoy if it was a decoy.
No, they would not have.
It only had one purpose: deliver the worms, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Which it should have gotten out earlier.
Mostly, it has to confirm the kill first. If you want to ensure that you have photographic evidence that the kill has been confirmed, you'll just shoot a person like, okay, they're definitely dead now. Because guess what? That has happened before where they think, okay, this guy most likely has not survived. I'm going to go away now and don't confirm that the person's actually dead. Take a look at Operation Valkyrie.
Okay.
And that failed.
Maybe I guess
And why in Naruto you have to decapitate a bounty to get the money?
Hey, that's actually how most bounties are taken care of. You decapitate the person, then it's like, yeah, this is the person. I have his head right here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a poison dart. If it was a poison dart that was not Camino made, then nobody would know. Or if
considering
it was
the fact that Camino is way out there, and considering the fact that it seems like a very few people are actually aware of its existence.
Well, if it was like just a regular poison dart from like the dollar store somewhere.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just walk up there and say, "Hey, who bought this?"
Some random guy, 1,000,276.
It's like literally, it's like, okay, can I take a look at your recent records? Oh,
yeah,
it's a bit silly, but we're gonna get stuck on this for a long time.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
okay, kinetic weapons. You mean slug throwers? Here's the thing: slug throwers are actually really shitty weapons sometimes. And lore, slug throwers are essentially like ballistic weapons and whatnot, but they're essentially stuff like bolt action rifles and whatnot. And the thing is, there's a drop distance for bullets, so you have to really compensate for the amount of distance you need to put between yourself and there.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that like a sniper thing, just by virtue of like the positioning of Padme's thing does not work very well. But I guess like maybe I think maybe just like if the
there is a shield over the window, Space Junk.
What
do you think that is? There is a force field. Yes.
It's the green stuff. So
yeah.
Like, so that's reasonable. Yes, they're not traceable, but they're not.
Technically,
they're
wouldn't
not
that
very.
mean the entire, why couldn't they just use a blaster instead? Wouldn't that have also worked because there's a shield?
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Oh,
because
shields,
this
no, shields
seemed.
do bounce, no, blasters do bounce off shields. There's a certain energy limit to them, and then it's like, okay, we can't use this anymore.
Well, the thing
That's
is,
a lot of inference.
well, I
Um,
would counter that in terms of it seems as though he's made this thing has made a hole in the force fields. So
Yeah.
that would be my counter, that it seems to have made it a hole. But after that, I think like the chase is fine. I think the chase is fine.
the chase is fun.
Yeah, the chase
Yeah.
is very fun. I think that Zam Wessel should not have tried to kill either of them. She should have just run.
Mhm.
She should
Yeah,
have just
that's what I
run.
think too.
See, that's what he was trying to do.
She didn't have to kill either of them. She could
Right,
just have like.
No, she.
This is called.
This is
Lacey,
Wolf.
this is the part where we. Sorry.
Wolf. What she should have done when she went into the bar is she should have gone out the back door. That's what she should have done. Instead, she circled around and tried to get Anakin.
Obi-Wan, but close.
Mm.
Obi-Wan, but fair enough.
No, she was following Anakin.
The camera was following Anakin, but Obi-Wan is the one that slices her blaster.
Okay.
So I think the camera, it's kind of meant to trick you into thinking she's following Anakin via the camera work, but she's really sneaky up on Obi-Wan.
My point about her
It still
going.
stands.
Point still stands. She should have gone out the back and taken another vehicle or something.
Skid speaks the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Sniper Jackals never miss. In fact, the Sniper Jackal would have been there. They would have actually been on the other side of the planet and used a lot of angling to get that shot.
Yeah.
And still would have hit down on target. Man, those Sniper Jackals, once you're no, they don't joke around. They'll kill you 90% of the time.
But because Zam wanted to get some extra XP or something, she goes in to kill Obi-Wan, and then he I couldn't really tell because they don't really have the arm flying off, and I guess he just slices the gun and she just is holding it. And then they bring her outside, which
I thought he'd gotten her wrist, actually.
Yeah, no, he cut her hand clean off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. But you don't worry making that joke. Why have the feeling I'm going to be doing that a lot sometimes?
Yeah.
Let me actually watch that scene because I do not remember a hand going off. I just remember her clutching her hand, clutching her arm if she was shot.
I think we're getting sidetracked by a really small detail.
Yeah, it's small detail, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I guess Zam, she could have just easily just gone into the ladies' room, changed into her underwear, and just posed as a barmaid or something.
Nah.
Something, and then left, and just nobody would have been the wiser.
Except maybe the Jedi, but they wouldn't have known what was going on.
Yeah. And then she could have gone up to,
Mm-hmm.
and then Django. So okay, the saber dart. I think that them questioning her outside was probably not a smart decision.
Well, it
wasn't
on the inside.
Yeah. But
and there was no music playing, so I don't know what you're expecting.
Hang on. Let done finished.
Well, I mean, in terms of now, kind of we can allow for her to get shot by a poison dart, and
the thing is, even they weren't expecting that.
True, but it's kind of just
the way it's set up. It feels contrived.
Yeah. Also, like, I guess Django was kind of tailing them the whole time, or maybe as a track runner. I guess like I can buy some of that with kind of just some hand wavy logic. The saber dart is just really dumb because the problem with the saber dart is they have to that leads them to the clones. And there's kind of a lot of weirdness around Camino in order for this mystery plot to keep going that doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it got erased from the archive memory since he just goes there anyway. It doesn't necessarily need to be there, especially since, like, Dexter Jetster knows about this place. And it probably is in other databases, since as far as we know, well, whoever erased it, probably Count Dooku, since he probably erased it on his way out. So it just kind of like doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense to me.
Well, you would check the archives to get the general coordinates.
Yes.
And the archives in the Jedi Temple are, I believe, the most complete
Archives in the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Yes. But there are probably other databases that Dooku was probably not able to access.
Well, not every single database would have the location of a planet like that.
Well,
as we said, Camino is way out in the boonies.
It's just downright out there in the outer rim. Barely anybody goes to the outer rim. Why would they bother taking note of all the planets there?
Well, the thing is, Camino is providing a very, very efficient. Okay, so that's okay. We're not going with cosmonaut logic. I'm trying to like. I don't think the cosmonaut makes any good arguments.
I think we're past that.
Yeah,
we're on to the next thing.
I'm not saying that that inherently is stupid, and also he's wrong. It's
also
too.
space.
What I'm
Sorry.
Yeah.
Space.
Yes. He
Dexter Jetster gave him a general location, and what Obi-Wan was doing was trying to get a more specific location.
Yeah. Hello. How's it going?
Rules of hyperspace. One Bambus calculation, you can fly right into a nebula or a dark, or a floating star, or a supernova, or a black hole.
Yeah.
And all I'm really saying here is just Lucas is kind of putting a lot of elements here that are cool, but they introduce some problems in the plot.
Well, technically speaking, also, the bows that Django actually has on him are blaster pistols. And they, too, have an effective range. So he would not be of much use doing from the range he was.
Yeah. Well,
and
the thing is, why would a dart have less range than a blaster? Because darts have gravity
because it's basically a kinetic weapon.
Well,
there is such a thing. I think there is such a thing as like an electron. Well, the thing is, speaking, you just have to launch the dart.
Yeah, but the dart is limited by the same laws that actual bullets are limited by.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of just assumed that. I just kind of assume from that Django is not terribly effective at his job. Since like the subcontracting, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's mainly the specifics of how he decides to carry out the job that I question.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
this is yet another reason why I think this should be a tetralogy instead, because having another movie between this one and Revenge of the Sith would have allowed Lucas to flesh all of this out.
That's actually not a deleted scene. That's actually not a deleted scene. I think you're thinking of the robots.
You could
Robots
call-
that talk about it.
You could call it
Yeah,
forward. That's
if it doesn't appear in our archives, it doesn't exist. Jocasta knew that is in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Also-
Go for it.
Okay, also, there are such things as Star shooters in Star Wars.
Hmm.
A what?
Yeah.
They are still subject to the same laws as other kinetic weapons, though.
Well, the difference is that they don't use gunpowder, they actually use compressed air.
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
It
There's-
does not
There's
matter.
still going to
Wolf.
be there's still going to be some measure of bullet drop, even
True.
if it's not a bullet. But as far as I know, blasters don't necessarily have bullet drop at certain. So long as there's like, it's not ridiculously far.
Yeah.
They still suffer from the fact that after a certain range, they're no longer effective.
Explaining stuff to him is a deleted scene, yes, but him asking him a question about the archives isn't. Her asking a question about the archives is not a deleted scene. We just barely watched the movie 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
remember. Yeah, she was she was very snotty about it. Very.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. So, or I do know that there is like a little bit of a, like in the tiny novelization, she's kind of telling you about Count Dooku, because he's looking at his statue, which
Mhm.
is neat, but it was cut and it's fine. It's not a big deal, but I do think that kind of. I kind of must ask, what exactly is the point of erasing Camino from the records?
Pink elephant. You ever heard of the pink elephant? You ever heard of the pink elephant psychology method? If you're told, essentially, don't. Essentially, someone tells you, don't think about pink elephants.
Wolf.
What are you going to do?
Wolf, slow down.
What happens if you're told, don't think about pink elephants?
You think about them.
Yeah.
Could you explain the correlation?
That was
I
essentially
think-
what he did. By deleting the archives of a certain location, that would only pique the curiosity. It's like, hold on there. I've been told this planet exists, but it's not here. What's
Yes.
actually going on here?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Exactly.
unless he went to Dexter, who would tell him about it?
Well, he went to Dexter first, I think.
Mhm.
Didn't he?
Yes, he did. He went to
Yeah,
Dexter.
he went to Dexter
Well,
first, so he knows
so-
that he knows that something is there, and he went specifically to look exactly where Dexter told him it was going to be, and nothing was there,
So,
and that's suspicious.
so Palpatine took into account Obi-Wan going to his diner friend, and his diner friend.
Count-
Maybe
just happened
not
to
his
be-
maybe not Dexter.
Consider
Maybe
there's
not
actually a deleted
Dexter.
scene where he went to a forensics lab to get an idea of the location. That pretty much served the same purpose as Dexter Jetzers.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, that deleted scene. I thought
Yeah,
that
it was a
in the
deleted
Jedi
scene.
Counts. I thought that was in the Jedi Counts, the Jedi Temple, not the.
I said forensics lab.
Forensic
Forensics
lab,
lab can be in the Jedi Temple. It doesn't. I'm not saying it has to be a completely separate department. He just goes to a forensics lab to tell him, we trace it to this planet. It's not here. What the hell?
That is actually a very good point.
Yep.
That is yeah. Like, since if there are like a lot of planets,
Well,
I don't know if
that's
like
not all.
one
The thing
being
is-
deleted.
The thing is, nobody is going to notice until someone goes looking for that specific planet.
Yeah, and
I mean,
that-
one way or another, they're going to find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just kind of the way that it is done kind of makes Django seem
Incompetent.
yeah, because, and it just kind of seems as though like, Django is. I think that Django would probably be questioning like, why exactly am I fighting for the side that is provide? Why are my employers? I think that Django would probably think his employers are dumb because they're supplying an army for
To the opposition.
To the opposition,
The thing is, though, Django is a mercenary. Django is an assassin and mercenary through and through. He does not care about the moral side of things, as long as he gets paid. That's all he's concerned about.
Well,
I'm not talking about.
That wouldn't stop him from thinking, okay, my employers are stupid because they are giving an army to their opposition. I don't care that they're doing this. It's still dumb.
Yeah,
War is profitable. What can I say?
Well, it kind of seemed. I think that he would probably just bail. I think he probably would just like, I'm bailing out. I do not want to. I am not going to be around with these jokers, because he said like
he
he's
has
hired
what
by.
He wanted. He has what he asked for, which is Boba Fett.
And he also has a lot of money. He also has a lot of money.
There's also contractual obligations.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't.
He told Space Junk. He told Obi-Wan it is out by the Rishi Maze.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he gives a rough.
He gives him a rough location.
Yeah, a rough location, which then Obi-Wan went
to the archives to get us more, like, generally, we're here at coordinates to this planet. Here's its location, specifically what type of planet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if he wasn't looking specifically for Kamino, he would be looking for, okay, what's in the region of the Rishi Maze?
Yeah.
Then Yoda told him to just go to. Yoda told him to go towards the general idea of the location and keep going, and then you'll find it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, I think that there's kind of more problems that come in with Kamino as well.
Well, again,
yeah,
this is Palpatine's whole plan. He planned for Django to do this. It's contrived in the movie, yes, but it seems contrived, but Palpatine is the one behind it all. So
so he would search. Yeah, well, I think that kind of does to a certain extent. It's more just the fact that there is an element of George Lucas needs specific things to happen, and he made a reason. He made a reason, but the problem with said reason is that the reason is built on a shaky foundation, would be like my criticism of it.
Again, he needed at least one more movie. Because
I don't even know about one more movie. I think just like.
Well, I said at least one more. I said at least one.
I mean, like, a lot of the problems I don't know would have been solved by another movie. I think that the problem are very much centralized here. So I think that, like, if the movie kind of smoothed out some of the problems, I think that maybe just not having the man, since maybe just like having the maybe just like tracing.
He still needed to go to Kamino. He still needed to do that.
Yeah, he did. But it's mainly.
Man, I think actually, I also think that Django actually has a specific set of blasters that are particularly modified.
Yeah.
So then it would lead to, hey, we need to track down the specific models. Like, we need to do, it's a variant of this model type. Go ask a couple people what bounty hunters uses these types of weapons, and then they would still let the Django, which then would okay, where did Django go?
Yeah, and
I think that would actually work a lot better than the Dart. That actually would work better than the Dart. I would buy that more.
Or a scene, between, a scene with Sidious talking to Django just before he kills Zam to solidify that.
They don't they say Palpatine?
Yes, they do.
In the movie. So
Yes.
why I maybe it's Palpatine. I
I think
okay, this joke is
how I pronounced it, Nerf.
yeah. Yeah, well, maybe he's worshiping at the throne of Neph. F simpage.
It's oh sorry, did I hear the word simp?
Is that your trigger word?
Okay, first off, I apparently have to
Rishi Maze is a dwarf galaxy?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point.
No, not dwarf galaxy. I think the Rishi Maze is actually a nebula.
Nope, it's an irregular dwarf satellite galaxy.
Good point.
Huh. I
Yeah.
always thought it was a nebula.
Huh. Maybe it's just because Neph is always correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's a satellite galaxy, meaning it's literally orbiting around the main galaxy as a whole.
Yeah. So I think that kind of like I've stated my piece on kind of I think that like Django off like kind of unfortunately has plot induced stupidity at points in this movie, and it's just kind of frustrating to me. But it gets the plot moving, and at least it's like doesn't go nowhere, which is kind of just like a criticism that I see popping up more and more in pretty much everything, not just the Star Wars sequels. So the clone army is interesting because I think that kind of one interesting thing that I've heard that was a theory that people have was that the clones were the bad guys in before this movie. A lot of people thought that the Clone Wars was not necessarily that the Republic had clones, but that the clones were the adversaries in the Clone Wars.
I think that also led to this was actually their designs because they were early resembling the stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually thought that because the old Republic became the Empire.
But the thing is, there are no clones in the OT other than the reference to the Clone Wars. And maybe like it was just kind of a minority of people that thought that. That's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know it's a thing in RLM's Attack of the Clones video, but they don't necessarily represent the majority of Star Wars fans.
No, they don't.
Moving on.
Yeah. So I think that kind of like it is I think it's an interesting twist, but there are slight problems with Camino, mostly because of a typo in the script, which I think is very amusing. So the nature of the
Oh my goodness, no, let's not get into that.
We never see anybody of the stormtroopers without their helmets. The 501st was retroactively made into clones. They were retroactively made into clones.
And the 501st is Vader's fist, which makes sense.
Yeah, he would want all clones, but it's kind of like, I just kind of have to say like that's a retroactive continuity with the prequels. It's not it wasn't in the original series.
We didn't know much about well, that's another fair point. It's like we didn't know much about the stormtroopers anyways.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So it really isn't. So in a way, it isn't really a retcon since there wasn't much established about them in the first place. Other than that, they were really, really good shots.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scary.
Yeah.
I guess like retroactive continuity, not in terms of it, like not retroactive contradiction, but retroactive storytelling going into it. Not necessarily, retcons aren't necessarily
Bad, I know, because I mean, like, I'm, you know, like, technically speaking, it's like I'm a fan of a few series that have a few retcons.
Yeah. I do think that like the Camino, like they should, like I think that like they should have contacted the Republic a little bit before this. I guess they got paid up front, so it doesn't matter, but it's kind of just like
I mean, the entire context of the job was to wait for the Jedi to come to them. So they probably thought, yeah, let's just wait, they'll come to us.
yeah.
And considering their entire attitude, they are not the most upfront of people.
Yeah. And it kind of seems as though, I guess, it kind of doesn't, I kind of think that, like, or I guess Order 66 that we're seeing in the next one, do we want to use the canon that that the clones are basically drones, or that it was a microchip that made them?
They're all,
Jedi?
actually, okay,
Like
Is
it
it
just
like-
says that they're perfectly obedient in episode 2, I believe.
yeah, like they were previously established that they were 100% obedient to the core. It's just that the Jedi then encouraged them to be more individual. Well, and then the chips came in. I don't know what to say about the chips though.
Yeah.
I don't know because
Yes.
those because we always like to use the movies as the movies.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we can put that in at all.
Yeah.
I don't think we should say anything about the Clone Wars series until and unless we watch it.
Which would
Or-
take a long time.
Yeah, it would take a long time.
No, exactly. It only takes like what 3 or so hours every watch or so.
Well, that takes a few days. That would still take several weeks to get through.
Yeah.
What we can do is just watch it by ourselves, and then we can have a discussion later about it.
I guess so. I've seen I've seen a few of the episodes twice. I would just need to like review it through the Wikipedia synopsis.
Well, you're gonna have to let me know like which episode, like which season we're reviewing. If we're reviewing season 1, then you got to clarify. Do you mean season 1 by chronological order or by watch order? And there's actually a difference because chronological order is the correct way to watch the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah. I really hate the fact that Clone Wars is released was released
Yeah,
non-chronologically,
it's like-
and even like made non-chronologically, which is frustrating.
That's why I could never get into it.
Yeah, you need like with this one, like a machete order is actually needed because
Yes.
the first episode chronologically is the first episode of season 2.
No, it's episode 16 of season 2.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it's in episode 5, season 1, I think. And then it's the movie, and then you have to pick up from there.
Jesus Christ!
And like I know that, and like in season 5, the arc with the first episode with Darth Maul in season 5.
Actually,
has-
it's even worse. The beginning of it is season 2, episode 16, and then the second one is season 1, episode 16, followed by the movie, and then 301, 303, and then all of season 1, and all of season 2. And the rest of season 3.
Becca, all I need to tell you is that your boyfriend's watching it wrong.
Well, it's her brother, not her boyfriend.
Oh, sorry, boyfriend. Wait, hell, where did I see? Oh, where the fuck did I see that? Okay, hang on. I think I'm losing my sight. I need to be put to the shed.
Stop watching Game of Thrones, you
Yeah.
creep.
Yeah.
No, I
comment.
read that way too quickly.
What is our topic again? I don't know.
Good point.
They were
So
released
Not
out
in the
because-
movies. No, I
it is
don't
not
think
No, not in the movies.
But
And what-
yeah,
and what
it's
they were
not
phased out
explained in the movies.
In Legends, they were phased out for two reasons. One, the Kamenon Rebellion, and two, conscripts were cheaper.
As well as the fact that they ran out of genetic material for Jango Fett.
Also that. Like, in the Clone Wars, they pretty much say, yeah, we're stretching this shit because we don't have enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you should just just ask, just go with the machete order. Find just watch it in chronological order rather than release date. Agreed. Yeah, I think that just the release now that the Clone Wars is out, I think that kind of the problem is just they kept making more stuff and wanting to do other things, but I just think that part is the whole thing, especially since there's a whole thing in season 5 where Maul shows up and Hondo Ohnaka's base has been destroyed, and then you see the base being destroyed 5 episodes later, exactly what happened, and it's just really frustrating.
Yeah.
I was going to say one good thing that came out of the Night Sisters arc. I got to see it being destroyed.
Mm-hmm. And also Hondo Ohnaka, we're pirates. We don't even know what that means.
Open fire.
Are we still talking about the film or something else?
Yeah. Sorry, we should probably move back. Any? I'm pretty much kind of the sourpuss of the bunch. Anybody else want to talk about any of their critic?
Well, I don't know if it's a criticism.
No.
I mean,
a horrible
all
idea.
we need to do was find another Mandalorian, aka find Boba.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a criticism, but I'm not totally sure always what's going on. But I think next time, I think I am going to have to read the wiki or something beforehand, because I don't know, 2/3 of what people are talking about, I don't know what they're talking about.
Maybe next time you should actually pay attention, or is your memory already failing you?
Well, I'm going to the film fresh.
Well, they were talking about the Clone Wars TV show. So.
Well, yeah, that's not even
No.
It's
kind of weird. George Lucas kind of had degradations of degrees of separation for canon.
Well, next time considering stuff like Dark Empire exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Empire is C canon, whereas the Clone War, the TV shows that George Lucas produced are B canon and
T canon.
TV. T TV. B is book.
Actually, there is no B canon. There's
Yeah.
canon,
Yeah, there is. B for book. The book series.
Look, I'm not sure I have the patience to be a proper Star Wars fan.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Star Wars is kind of Star Wars.
Okay, there's G canon, T canon, C canon, S canon, D canon, and N canon.
Yeah.
What?
There is no B
Okay,
canon.
moving on.
Yeah, you are right. That is correct. He is correct. It is G. Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah. We'll just yeah. So the romance. So any other So let's talk about the romance.
It was rushed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
A
It's
little,
a little
bit,
creepy
yeah.
at times on both ends.
That too.
And not
Yeah.
just Anakin, but Padme too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ouch.
yeah.
In the cognitive dissonance between when Padme dresses up all interestingly.
No comment.
Listen. George said she better have a fucking dress for every other scene she's in, or I'll cut you down and kill you.
I will hunt you down and kill you.
Please don't use
That was-
that clip.
That was interesting. Her all we can't do this, but I'm gonna dress all slutty for you.
And I'm,
Well, is it wrong to look good for a guy she's attracted to?
and I'm gonna give you these doe eyes and stuff too. But But no, we can't do this.
The ultimate mixed signals ever.
Yeah,
it's like she's
And also,
It's
this is kind of a Disney relationship almost.
Mhm. It's like
Because-
she's saying no, but she has this huge ass fucking sign that says "screw me" right above her head.
please, yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's neon and it's pointing right at the point where like her
I am
dress
on the lane
S
right
meets-
now, and I want you inside me.
It's kind
Yeah.
of a pornographic too, the neon sign, but we won't go there.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I know that a lot of prequel
Consider the
fans.
fact that both have the social aptitude of a dead fish.
Okay,
Would-
calm down, Wolf. Let
Social
Gun.
aptitude of a dead fish. I honestly I don't think the
Gun, what
Padme
were you
should be-
going to say before Wolf
Um
interrupted you?
I was just going to say there are a lot of prequel fans that yell about the Clone Wars and
Oh.
how it doesn't quite fit with the movies, and to a certain extent they are correct. I know that people like Anomaly at one point said, I want to like wait to do the prequels because he hates the narrative that the Clone Wars fixes the prequels.
Well, the Clone Wars probably does fix a few things, but they're not gonna fix everything.
Or he's of the opinion that the prequels didn't need to be fixed, like that they're fine. I like Anomaly. I like him a lot.
Huh?
Some things I disagree with him, and that's totally okay. But it's
she's hearing him. Deacon does not exist. Yeah. The thing is, he has frustrations that he's not normally allowed to vent, and she's probably the only other person he can vent this stuff to.
Besides, that's romantic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, during that part when he's ranting about it, it's more like a friend hearing out another friend.
Yeah, it's more of a. It's
And
kind of like what I do with several people, where
And-
they vent. I go, yeah, okay, I'll listen to you, and I will be sympathetic, and I'm always sympathetic with them because they're my friends, and I want them to feel better, and that's what's going on here.
I imagine that most of them did not say, "Hey, I went on a shooting spree after my mom
Well,
died."
he didn't go on a shooting spree, but the situation might as well be that.
Or maybe it's just I didn't take my authentic medieval sword and start hacking up people in this third world country.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. That is definitely very good because I have to agree that they barely know each other. They've only knew each other for like a few days in Phantom Menace, and then it's been 10 years since.
But it's
Yeah.
love at first sight.
Yeah. Disney.
Yeah, that's why I would classify this as a Disney romance in a lot of ways, but he's kind of has less appealing qualities than the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
The only thing that he has going for him after that rant is that he's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. She unless he is mind tricking her.
Oh my god.
No, I
don't
hate-
think so.
I hate-
She's got a pretty strong mind. She's
I mean-
very strong-minded.
Is there any
Very.
indication? Is there any indication in the film that he's doing that, or is this some other fan thing that people are?
I think it's like a fan thing. I
There are
personally
people
didn't-
talking
It's a fan. I think
It's
it's
a-
a
it's-
fan theory that a
it's a
lot of
fan-
Stop talking over each other all the time around here.
Okay, sorry.
Figured.
Neph first.
It sounds like that would be a fan theory that of people that don't like the ship.
Wolf, you next.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very. I say on that. It's just very fan and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mostly I was just using it as a joke. Just
It's very headcanon-y.
yes. It
And
is
there's
very
no
headcanon.
indication anywhere that he's using a mind trick on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go there, then we'll be at it for days.
Yeah.
Can I mention one probably
for it.
stupid nitpick? I think the name Shmi is kind of stupid for two reasons.
Which name?
Shmi. For two reasons. Firstly, it sounds like Smee, so I think of Peter Pan. And secondly, it begins with a schmutz sound, so I think of, things like Game of Thrones, Shmame of Thrones, Benioff, Schmenioff. You think of things like that. Schmutz.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
offense.
Sorry. Okay,
No.
so get
Yeah,
this.
no
I
offense
looked
if anyone's name begins with Shma around here. No offense to you.
Okay, so I looked up the meaning of Shmi. It is literally Hebrew for my name.
Oh. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's true. Yeah, I forgot that. That's true.
So wait, her name is My Name's Skywalker?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I honestly think the Mr. Shmee thing is funnier because I always think of Bob Hoskins and Hook. He's honestly the best Smee. Like no question. Don't try to stop me, Smee. Don't try to stop me, Smee. Try and stop me. Get over here, you idiot. What are you doing? I need you to stop me. I'm committing suicide. Oh, that would be hilarious. Like Shmi Skywalker in pirate outfit. That would be hilarious.
Yes.
That would be amusing, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that kind of just like there's a lot of with the romance, it's not that necessarily I don't think it's badly acted. I just think that the acting style that George Lucas chose is antiquated, but he also did not replicate it very well. Like just on a technical aspect.
Yeah, I think that what happened there is that Hayden and Natalie weren't taught to act that way, which didn't help.
He did comment that he actually liked the style of acting since it felt more like theater acting, whereas Natalie Portman really didn't like that kind of acting.
Well,
and it's kind of
true, too.
understandable. That's kind of understandable because method acting is quite superior to anything. Like just as a technique, is quite superior to acting in the 20s and 30s, which is what George Lucas likes. I think 30s and 40s maybe. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of actors have always complained about the freaking dialogue and how they had to act it. Just remember, Harrison Ford did say he wanted to tie George Lucas hold him at gunpoint and make him read his own lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually
a matter of taste, I guess.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like it's kind of interesting that George Lucas is like his vision is in the future, but his tastes are in the past. I think that's the best summary that I could come up for George Lucas as an artist if I were to boil him down to a one-sentence summation. No pushback? Okay, we'll let that stand. Okay, so I don't think that necessarily there are. I think that I think that their relationship needed a little bit more time, kind of discussing their likes and dislikes, since Anakin, when he shares what he thinks about democracy, should frighten the crap out of Padme.
Yeah, and it should also be. It should, and then there should have been a scene of her explaining
why he's wrong.
Yeah, explaining why he's wrong. So that, and making sure that she explained in a way that he could understand.
Yeah. And then like the next scene is them running through the hills of Naboo all cheery like after he like says, I think a dictatorship would be the best option. It's like,
Well, he did follow up by saying that whatever he thinks works best.
yeah, it kind of, I think that the problem might even be that Padme, I guess maybe that's what she finds appealing about him, is that he has a simplistic view of the world, but also, like, I don't know why that would be appealing to somebody like Padme, who kind of has to see the world through shades of gray and has to work with people she doesn't like, I imagine, in the Senate.
Well, I think it might possibly be a breath of fresh air for her.
She's had to deal with a lot of conniving and backstabbing. She had to deal with like a lot of senators who were pretty much used to bureaucratic back tape. Seeing one person who is just utterly straight to the point, doesn't really know much about the nuance of everything, really does put you somewhat better at ease, because it means like, okay, thank God I don't have to go. It's like, okay, thank God I don't have to have another headache.
Yeah. But that would probably lead to a different headache. The headache of her having to explain the complexities of politics to him, but it would be the kind of headache that she actually wants to have, instead of having to deal with people who lie to her.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of just interesting that, like, he can't really engage with her on her level, which is kind of like...
To be honest, I gotta straight up tell you, being smart's actually more of a curse. So having all this knowledge really doesn't want to make you use it sometimes.
Well...
And sometimes you just want to have somebody that just wants to hang out, have a few beers with you, who kick back, shoot the shit, and not somebody that wants to yell at your face while you are wrong about this political alignment, and then proceed to go into a 3-hour debate of why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like about politics, but I just mean like just in general, like subject matter. But I guess that is a point. That is a fair point. I'll concede that. Anything else that we like in terms of like criticism, since I think that we've been like fairly balanced in terms of like how we've dissected this. We're not angry at this movie. We actually kind of like it. It's just that I see a number of like logical like cause and effect problems that would have been ironed out if there was another draft after this.
Or another movie to work with.
Yes.
Or both. Both would have been better.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to the actual good things now.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I actually think that Hayden Christensen's actually pretty good as Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, like, well, certainly.
For all that he is kind of like, I know that at points he was dissatisfied with kind of how he did things, and George Lucas was fine with it, mostly because like George Lucas is unaccountably enamored with the 1930s and 40s, even though their acting isn't that good, even compared to like stuff in the 60s and 70s. But
I think it's some way. I think it's some way like the acting, the acting methods of Star Wars was what makes it unique from the others, even if it is a weird kind of unique.
Well, I don't think that the acting in the originals is like on just like technical levels is similar to the prequels. They're very different in a lot of ways in terms of like how people deliver things and a lot of the like even like how people were coached to deliver lines, because I know like George Lucas like he didn't write Empire. That was and he didn't direct it.
No, he wrote. I'm pretty sure he wrote Empire Strikes Back.
Well, maybe it was just Irwin Kershner did the dialogue touch ups. Since I think it was probably like a joint thing because I know like George Lucas did not direct Empire. That much is for certain. I know he edited it and like made it a little bit more. Yes, I would agree that it's up there. Yeah, I think that like really works, especially like there's a lot of nuance there. The acting's really good, and also the dialogue is very good. Feels it kind of feels that scene feels the most natural to me.
It does,
because like a lot of the other times, there's kind of a slightly like stilted and formal feel to it when it kind of doesn't need to be there. But that could just be me. And I think that kind of like just the moment where like he probably goes mad a lot. I like the kind of reading that the main a big reason of why he goes mad is because his mom isn't able to finish saying "I love you" to him. I actually think that's a good point of the movie where she's not able to say "I love you." She just able to say "I love" and it just cuts off before she's able to say "I love you, Anakin."
It's obvious that that's what she meant, though.
Yeah, it is obvious that's what she meant, but it's kind of just.
Then there's also the fact that's like, technically speaking, for like nearly his entire childhood, she was all he had.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like there is kind of some good setup here where she feeds into his fall in Revenge of the Sith, but we'll cover that when we cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that is the best. I'd say that is the best scene in the film. Yes.
Yeah, the man nearly lost money on Empire.
Yeah, he nearly did, but thankfully he pulled it out. And it's kind of interesting that there's so many narratives around Star Wars that are kind of not based in facts, which is kind of frustrating sometimes.
I mean, if you want to look at actual history, refer to the Three Kingdoms era. People tend to prefer the fanon version of the Three Kingdoms era over the actual canon version.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like, most people would rather look to Romance of the Three Kingdoms than Records of the Three Kingdoms, which is the actual historical records. But then again, a lot of those people are also Shu fans, and they don't like the fact that Shu are awful. Shu are not full of freak people.
Yeah. And of course there's always like the hilarity of the arena of vaginas.
No comment. Shut up, dog.
Okay, hang on. Go back to the image real quick. I want to count how many there are.
No, Bright Lord, you're not going to go there. You're not going to talk about.
Hang on, I want to see how many.
Organs.
Okay, hang on.
It's very angular, and well,
there's also some parts of it that do look like it's. I'd say there's about maybe 20.
Mm-hmm.
No comment. No comment. Let's move right along.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Doug said this while we were watching it. He looked at one of the walls and said, "Like that looks like a vagina." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're actually right."
And then he said it about half a dozen times afterwards because once wasn't enough, and now we're going to say another half dozen times because those half dozen weren't enough.
Your triggering is fulfilling my.
If you look at the holes, yes, they are termite holes, but they are very yonic shaped, especially at the moment where, like, you see the stand where Poggle the Lesser and Dooku are standing. There's diamond shaped things with a bunch of little diamonds in the center that
they look like
Are we gonna go on about this for the next time?
No, we're not. I just
we're not.
I just thought that it was pertinent to mention.
Space asked us to explain. So
it is important, yes. Well, that's because he had to raise it again after having spent several minutes last time.
Why? Who described me as vanilla as they You have no idea what I think about on my off time.
No, no
Well, I
comment.
only assume that has to do with the simultaneous death of everybody you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But also, like, I think that I forgot to put Ewan McGregor up there. I think that Ewan
How dare you not
McGregor.
put down the guy who looks like Space Jesus in this movie?
Okay.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is definitely one of the best parts
Quick,
of this movie.
everybody boo him.
Boo! You suck.
I know.
Oh, go suck a bag of dicks, you fuck.
Don't he might actually do that just to make you even weirder.
Oh, no comment.
Yes, no comment.
I'm weird, but I'm not that weird.
If we're talking about good things and Obi-Wan, there's some amusing. You were mentioning it during the film. Some amusing byplay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
This is the wrong thing.
Yeah. Ewan and Hayden snarking at each other is some of the best parts of this movie.
I hate it when he does that. What's the other one?
No. Shmi is
well, he's referred to what we call this area.
No, I know.
Well, and honestly, technically, that is not from me. That's actually from School of Movies, but I can't now. It's accurate. Unfortunately,
It's impossible to unsee.
Yeah.
How dare you mention that heresy here?
It's like when you originally look up what the crest worms used to look like. You can never unsee it.
Yeah.
Triggered.
Yeah.
I think that like a lot of the I think that it's interesting that Lucas went with a brother-brother relationship rather than a father-son relationship. And kind of like made Anakin and Obi-Wan a little bit more antagonistic toward each other. I imagine there's probably a few times where Anakin shouted at Obi-Wan, "You're not my real dad. My dad died on Naboo."
Oh.
Actually, there used to be times.
That would be.
There were times actually in Legends where he said, "You're not Qui-Gon, so stop trying to be him."
Yeah, that actually happened in the 2D animated Clone Wars at one point.
Yeah, but to me, like him saying that actually felt like it came out of halfway nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because actually, that was a case where I'd say that brightness is completely out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was simply to show that he's still a kid.
Yeah.
But
even Anakin like had these justifiable bits of brightness, like justifiable. But when it came to him like saying, "But you're not Obi-Wan," I was like, "Wait, what?" I was watching a 2D Clone Wars with like my favorite friends, and think I actually like burst out laughing when he said that.
Yeah.
Well, how would he know that? Because he didn't know Qui-Gon for very long. At all.
Honestly, I think that maybe like since Obi-Wan's technically old enough to be his dad, like if like he had him as like
I think he was 25 to 27.
Yeah.
So he's not quite old enough.
Some people have kids when they're 16.
Well, some
14.
people do, but
Obi-Wan was 25.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan would have been 16 when. Okay, so maybe not dad, but yeah, I think like he should. I think that maybe like it's kind of interesting that like Anakin doesn't show Obi-Wan more respect and kind of like at least like in the scene where he's talking to. It's kind of interesting, I guess.
I mean, Obi-Wan does try it.
No, we're talking about when they met.
Oh.
Becca. When they met, he was 25. and
Yeah.
Anakin was 9. So he would have been 16.
Yeah, like the thing,
Yeah.
it's like I figured like that relationship, like how he portrayed himself, was more like because he tried to be more like Qui-Gon. But it's kind of hard to be like Qui-Gon because Qui-Gon is the ultimate surfer dude of the Star Wars series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish that was portrayed more in his performance rather than just his actions, but
Oh
then
no.
again, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I honestly would have liked it if kind of he was a kind of a go with the flow, more like kind of like his personality was a little bit more go with the flow. Oh, but that's just me.
I follow the will of the Force, dude.
He probably has a surfboard like in the fucking Nabooian ship waiting to
Hey,
go
Neph,
back to Naboo.
You know what that picture I use for like the group chat?
Yeah.
Go with the flow, dude.
It's like it's Obi-Wan going, "Yo, Ray Dog, get up!" And like he's like some 99 years old, dog. It's
I heard that Qui-Gon was a part of the Dude Brug Covenant at one point.
no, the Covenant adopted their dude broness after him.
Yeah.
Remember, it said a galaxy far, far away a long time ago.
Oh
Yeah.
no, the Dude Brug Jedi Council. That
Yeah.
was the precursor to the original.
Yeah.
Hey, mind if I show a pic? Actually, mind if I share my screen right quick?
Go for it.
Now, Ray Dog, get up, dumbass. Alf is like 120 years old.
Oh
Sleep the leg.
no. Could you please get it off this? Please?
Hey, I
Can
thought
we please go back to the Prezi?
I know.
I thought
Thank you.
Wolf was the one who gets triggered by the sequel stuff.
No, he's not the only one.
No, in this case, I
There
had
are
a
two.
laugh when I saw it. I'm like, oh my
No.
god, it's Obi-Wan.
There are two of the
Qui-Gon.
Yeah. And also, like, I think that Christopher Lee is a very good villain. I kind of wish we had a little bit more of him orchestrating things, but I do like what we get of him.
Yeah.
It's always a plus.
Again, I would have liked an extra movie just to see more of Christopher Lee.
It's just like a whole movie of him just talking. Like, yeah, it's just
No,
fine.
just a whole movie of him being Darth Tyrannus. That would have been awesome. Instead of seeing a little bit of Darth Tyrannus in Attack of the Clones, and then him dying in the first, 20 minutes of Revenge of the Sith. That's not enough!
Yeah.
He had to play Saruman.
I would have. I think that that's actually one of the neat things about Clone Wars is like I'm a big sucker for personal villain, protagonist and villain, protagonist and antagonist relationships where they have a personal rivalry to a certain extent, and I think the Clone Wars does that pretty well. That's good job. Good job. Good job. But I think that I do like the scene with Obi-Wan and Dooku where he's kind of there's a lot of good subtlety in that dialogue where kind of like he's like initially he says like this is a huge mistake and he's clearly lying his butt off to Obi-Wan most of the time, but like when he says like there's no bounty hunters here that I'm aware of, like that's clearly like BS.
Yeah, that's clearly BS.
And
Clearly.
Then when he says I shall secure your release immediately, I shall petition to have you released immediately. And then by the end when Obi-Wan says I'm not going to join you, he says it may be difficult to secure your release. Like I actually really like that. That's actually really good dialogue. I think most of the dialogue in that scene is really good.
You know when he says the cure your release, that could have a whole other context behind that.
Yeah.
Wolf, sawed off.
What? Oh, ow, dang.
I think he turned Dunn into a dolphin again.
I mean, isn't that hard?
Okay, Dun, calm down.
Sure. Okay. But yeah, I do think that like the standout thing is the action, and I think that like I do think that the cavalry coming in with Yoda and the clones is actually well set up.
Yeah, that was great. That was definitely one of the better parts of the movie.
Around the survivors, a perimeter create.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, go to run for a second.
Okay, go for it.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yeah. Yeah.
We should make you watch T2.
Okay.
After the Star Wars. Maybe.
I'd be down to watch Terminator 2. I know exactly what happens in it. I've seen a lot of the best parts of it. But
if we're doing Terminator, can I at least recommend Kill Command that we watch one of those because it's a Terminator-like film.
After Terminator.
Yeah, after Terminator.
Yeah. I am interested to eventually find the second best King Arthur movie, since the best one is not in question.
Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh, we got Replica again. He wants to join in. I think.
It's a bit late for that.
I like Replica, but it's just like I don't know if any of it. Like he's a very passionate person, and to some extent, like I think that like we would be trying to like get a word in edgewise, but he clearly loves these films like a lot. Like he's like he even has bragged, I think, at one point that he loves them more than Anomaly Inc., which is kind of impressive.
I won't be surprised actually, because that is very Replica. Like when he really does something, he makes sure you are completely 100% aware of it.
Yeah.
Like he'll hold a shotgun to your face and tell you, "I love this film."
I will. Okay. At some point, I will have a discussion with him about each of these movies. It will probably be just a meeting of the minds between me and Replica, and I will just allow him to speak his piece.
All right.
And I guess maybe like at like the last after we finish discussing it. If there's any questions from y'all, please bring them up. I think like there's less questions with this movie than there would be with say like a writing craft thing, since like there's less like craft involved with kind of dissecting this. But I think that like there's also kind of like I do like the saber fight. I like kind of how like Dooku's lightsaber is actually like he's able to get a nice angle on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah, he's a special cookie.
Remember, Gandalf. Remember, Merlin's inspired by Gandalf. I said it was a non-state. And all he says that it's because I didn't have my coffee, but it's like I think coffee is your problem. How are you coming to these conclusions?
I'm doing good, Replica. Nice to see you. It was very nice to meet you.
We certainly didn't say anything bad about episode 2 at all, or anything.
Done why here for calling it the worst movie ever. You need to persecute them with your fear shotgun.
Yes, the Last Jedi is a million times better than the prequels.
Yes, infinitely. It totally doesn't ruin Star Wars on a fundamental level and break the world building.
Rise of Skywalker makes complete sense. You're just mad you didn't get your ending.
Listen, okay, I would say wear a bulletproof vest, but considering the fact it's the fear shotgun, you're not going to have a chance. Actually, collect. Oh, hang on. I'm going to tell you.
Okay, can we get back on topic, please?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think the topic's pretty much over at this point.
Yeah. Is there anything else you all wanted to bring up in terms of things you like about this movie? But also as well as like why it, like specifics of why it works, like in terms of like why it's what kind of like writing craft things.
Hang on. Do you mind if you mind if I send him a link?
Go for it. I don't mind.
All right. Let me get the invite.
Yeah. So, any like little writing things? Since I think that there are some writing gems here. Like I do like certain aspects of Jango v Obi-Wan fight, and I like that Obi-Wan notices the armor like out of the corner of his eye. I think that that's actually neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Hmm?
Neph has to take things seriously. It's why she's cute.
some of
She
the
takes
some of
everything
the
very passionately and seriously.
some of the dialogue between we mentioned the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Anakin and things like visual cinematography and things like that, CGI. They top notch
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't got anything else. There's actually a couple. There are plenty of other things I would say good, but otherwise, I think we covered the majority of them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about we move on to Q&A, and I tell the audience right now, if a hitman station outside your houses, it's our question, otherwise you're going dead.
No, it's more
Questions,
like ask
please.
questions.
Oh, sorry, no, ask a question, otherwise you're going to be taking a swim.
Please make them kind of on topic too, if you don't mind.
Kind of
cool.
on topic.
I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You have invited semi-on topic comments.
Oh God, no.
I did not notice that. Nice. I do like Replica. He's a funny man in a lot of ways. I think I broke him when I like asked him if he was psychic regarding School of Movies.
So, I have a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how godlike is Christopher Lee?
11. Next question.
No, not 11, 300.
No, that's too small for him.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Vigintillion, maybe?
No, well, yeah.
yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with Gatrillion. Let's go with that. Let's go with
Thank you, CT2005.
over
Hey.
9,000.
Nah.
I was trying to lead into that. None of
Well,
you were.
no, it wasn't a matter of pattern recognition. It was just you predicted most of what he said. Oh, yeah. I think that the Sypha Diaz thing is actually hilarious. But more, not necessarily for reasons of the film, it's actually more for reasons that Sypha Diaz, the character of Sypha Diaz that has been expanded upon in the Clone Wars series and other expanded materials as the guy that Dooku killed in order to cover it up. It was originally a typo. It was supposed to be Sido Diaz, not Sypha Diaz. So it was supposed to be an alias of Sidious. And so this whole new character was created as a result of a typo, which I find absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So it's just...
Trust me, they will never know. My name is Sypha Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah. It was... And so they created this whole new... But then, like, Sypha Diaz is this character that, like, died 10 years ago, and so yeah, it's really kind of funny that like Luke has created this whole new character
On accident.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Yes. well, that's what it was supposed to be. So
Side of the Sidious.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like seriously,
it
like I was like they would never figured it out.
yeah, and like kind of the funny thing is just like because of and kind of just because of that, and it's just kind of funny.
Did you get Becca's comment?
Yeah,
Okay, then I have another question.
yeah.
What do you think of Boba?
He is this little sociopathic little crap.
Well, his father's Jango Fett.
Strangle Fett? Oh no.
Jango Fett.
Okay.
It's like like in his case, it's normal. Like, of course, I would like to cheer to see my dad kill people.
So
Yeah, it's in the family blood.
so I don't know if this is serious, but I saw this. Mistborn fans, react as you will. Apparently, there's going to be a Fortnite Mistover crossover event.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna
No!
go.
No!
A what?
No! No! No!
Okay,
No!
okay,
No!
okay.
No!
People, I think we could get any lower, but apparently, it's not even an option anymore. We need to go find out where these people are and hold up a gun point, make them don't do this.
Um,
I had enough of this friggin' Fortnite. I wanted to die. It
I
is.
don't. Maybe it's
Are
like
you
I just
serious?
saw this. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this is true. I just saw somebody.
Well, do they have a source for this? Because it's maybe a rumor. Because
It may be a rumor. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
but yeah, if it's revealed that it's this board, then you might as well get on the bandwagon of having your favorite franchise be on a frickin' Fortnite.
Yeah.
But just remember, a big spoiler in episode. Like, remember, the big speech Palpatine makes in episode 9 happens in Fortnite.
So, Fortnite. So, PC. So, a couple of sites are saying that there's they're teasing a Mistborn Fortnite skin. And
Truly,
there's
there are no
Mistborn.
lows. Truly, that Fortnite really has no lows.
Oh, Master Chief? You mean that Fortnite guy?
Yeah. So the clone chips, it's kind of interesting. So, okay. So the thing is, Clone Wars is weird because it doesn't necessarily. It was made not between episode 2 and 3, but significantly after episode 3 came out. So it kind of is bringing in new elements. Like in the original canon, the only clones that can really think for themselves are ARC troopers. Every other clone is basically a biological robot.
Well, technically, also
Commandos.
the Republic Commanders can think for themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so like ARC troopers and Republic Commandos can think for themselves, but the rest of them are just kind of drones. That's why, like, when Order 66 comes around, they just kind of without question do it because they're genetically programmed to do it. However, in the Clone Wars, some things change. Like ARC Trooper is something you can be promoted to rather than something you were like biologically created to do. As well as clones are able to think for themselves and desert rather than it only like regular rank and file clone troopers can desert rather than ARC troopers can some ARC troopers deserting in the original EU because the Clone Wars 3D animated series contradicts a lot of the Clone Wars era EU stuff,
Which isn't really new.
Which isn't new, but it's kind of just like kind of funny that it kind of like disregards it to that degree that there's just kind of like a like no, we're not doing any of these things. And some of the things in like the Clone Wars EU is cool. Like I really like Quinlan Voss and Ayla Secura's story. It's one of the few like Star Wars things I've read. I really like that particular story where Ayla Sakura has to bring her master back from the dark side. I think that's actually a really cool story. Would the movie be better if Sanderson wrote it? Sanderson's not well. I think it would be slightly better, but from after reading Skyward, Sanderson's not very good at space opera stuff. It's kind of just seems like it's ever so slightly out of his wheelhouse, because with Skyward, I was kind of just like, this is a very typical cookie cutter sports movie plot that I can kind of just like, okay, like the characters are pretty engaging and they're unique, but I kind of just like was throughout listening to it, I was just like, okay, this is very predictable, but not in like this is predictable in terms of I know this formula really pretty well, and it's kind of just like, come on, Brandon, I know you can do better than this. And it was kind of just like, okay, and it kind of didn't really make me like terribly interested to read the follow-up Starsight, and apparently like it's kind of Starsight's kind of even more of the same, which is kind of frustrating to hear about. Yeah, I would agree, and kind of like it's just kind of a it's kind of Star Wars canon, like only the movies made a certain measure of sense. Once you bring in the extra stuff, it kind of starts going into a quagmire of crazy in a lot of ways. There is kind of a pattern with Clone Wars where they'll kind of just bring in new Jedi and then they'll kill them. Like they'll just introduce them and then kill them. It's kind of interesting.
Remember, the Clone Wars actually has a high body count for TV for.
It does.
For supposedly a kids show. It has a high body count.
Oh yeah, it has a really high body count, and even like an implied, no, not even implied, like a decapitation happens, you just don't see the decapitation.
I think it's something up there like the 30s of dead named characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clone Wars.
Game of Thrones, get on Clone Wars level.
Oh my god. Oh wait, hang on. Okay. According to this, the amount of clone troopers that died on screen were 196,463.
What?
On-screen deaths.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive.
The
Not bad.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Okay, and okay, also remember this. Okay, in the Clone Wars cartoon series, 20 Jedi died.
Yeah.
You know that meme? No animals were harmed in the making of this production.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that they could say, "We wish you could say that no Jedi were harmed in the making of this production, in the production of this series," but we'd be lying.
Yeah. And kind of a lot of like, also like, you also have a character be strangled on screen.
Yeah.
At one point, like you even hear his neck snap.
Okay, here it is. Star Wars: The Clone Wars list of death Wikipedia. Because there's
we'll just leave that for another time.
Oh my god, there's a lot.
Yeah, maybe just put that up on screen just so we have a visual.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you right quick. This is how many people die.
It's a lot. Like Clone Wars
A death. It looks like, oh my god, it's a death every episode.
possibly high, at least one.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
We can just scroll down. Like as you can see, there's kind of a fairly huge like line as you kind of go down. It's
Holy crap.
Yeah, Replica Films, if you want to come on, Wolf.
Hey, I was gonna like,
yeah,
I'll take it. Yeah, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90.
Let me find an entrance. I think I have an entrance for him that I can just repurpose.
Okay, I keep counting. We're up into the hundreds now. 9, 10, 11, 12.
And also, like, Riff Tamsin's death is pretty brutal. Like, he gets, like, blown up and you see his, like, head floating in the water. It's actually kind of hilarious. And
Disturbing.
Nasty. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have the clip. Let me see. Right here.
Okay, I'm still reading this. I am near 200 right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But let me bring on Mr. Replica.
Right. I counted 170 something deaths of named characters.
It's another day at the office.
That's not including the unfinished episodes. We're going to go to 100, where we'll count 180 something deaths.
Vader copied that one from me. I do that all the time.
So Mr. Replica Films, feel free to correct us and tell us why we were wrong about Attack of the Clones.
I hope you're not lumping me in with that we.
You guys are you seem to be misunderstanding me. Like, I'm not the. It's how do I put it? It's like most of my anger whenever we talk about I talk about the prequels. It comes more from an intellectual standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not the fan to end all fans of the prequels.
Oh,
like,
no! I understand.
I will murder anyone who doesn't like it, though.
The only like prequel movie I don't really particularly like is Phantom Menace.
So you've chosen certain death.
Indeed. I am willing to go toe to toe with you, but
no, Father Time is gonna get you, motherfucker.
Oh, I imagine he is.
You mean telling this video on his clock right now?
Yeah.
Right.
So
what are we gonna fucking profile pictures? Stupid.
Your thoughts on Attack of the Clones? Like, what are your what are your thoughts on Attack of the Clones? Kind of like so that we can kind of have things be a little bit more balanced. I've already kind of say like what my like issues with the plot are, and it's kind of I just see like there's some like logical cause and effect issues, but it's enjoyable despite the logical cause and effect problems in Attack of the Clones. And honestly, I'm just kind of amazed that nobody else has brought up a lot, that most people just kind of focus on the surface level, like George Lucas, like, and not even like accurate things. Like, it's not George Lucas is a bad director, it's mostly just George Lucas is a slightly biased cinephile more than George Lucas is a bad director.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones. It's it's a movie that's kind of hard to talk about because in order to be able to say anything about it that's, like accurate or factually correct, you basically have to disregard like just about everything anyone has ever said about it and just judge it on its own merit and watch it, without any kind of bias, and that's almost impossible. Like it's I haven't like said this anywhere yet because I'm essentially saving it for my videos on the matter. But my description, like in the most simplest way I describe episode 2 is that it's the most not bad movie ever. Like it's like around every corner there's something that people complain about that isn't a problem. Like it's around every single corner, whether it's the dialogue, the effects, whatever. Like there's just a metric fuck ton of things that people think are problems that are just not problems.
Yeah, they aren't going to the meat of some of the like structural issues.
Like it's
they're kind of going surface level.
Surface level. Like so it's hard to judge the film on its own merits, even coming from like the position of somebody who loves it. Because like my heart is with episode 1. Like episode 1 is my favorite because it's the first movie I've seen. Like I have a connection to that. Blah blah blah. But episode 2 was like I think it was probably the only Star Wars movie that they sort of managed to convince me wasn't that good. Like I still didn't think that I still don't think that like that Anakin was like a bad character or all that, but I did kind of think he was like a complaining bastard and everything. Like I actually watched Blinka's reviews in like 2015, like before all this crap, and I think I might be one of the very rare individuals who was not convinced by his videos that the movies were bad, but he did definitely like damage my perception of them, and then later it was obviously rectified. But episode 2 was always the movie that was like, it's kind of like episode 5. It's just sort of so and so. I'm not really all that interested in it. But, I don't like episode 5 all that much, and I don't like episode 2 in a similar vein. Although like recently, obviously, like what I was talking about was like my general opinion I've always had. More recently, like I definitely think the movie, like, is it better than 1? Probably. On like just a world building standpoint, the fucking movie's an absolute and total masterpiece when it comes to that. But it's I mean, there's like it's to like, well, I would definitely say like it's very high. The score is very high for sure. Like like we're talking like if I put away my fanboy super love for the movie, then I would say it's like a 9, maybe like I typically say about the prequels at worst 8 out of 10. Because like that's sort of a shield wall thing I have, but I look at most of the films like I look at Star Wars as like a series of masterpieces all coming together as like a master work, as it were. The way I like to look at it is that George Lucas, there's like 6 pieces to like the pizza, and if you put them all together, then it's like a master work, if you get what I mean,
But why'd you have to say pizza? Now I want pizza.
But it's
Pizza.
like the actual films. It's not like all of them are necessarily masterpieces. Well, I do feel like they certainly are. But you see, that's the thing, is that all the films connect with each other and they work together in a way. And once you start to look at them in that sense, well, then there's no question about it. But on their individual merit, like I would say that Attack of the Clones is like one of the weaker ones, but it's like, I mean, like it's it's still really, really fucking solid. Like just Like it's a type of movie that I can watch forever, essentially. Like my biggest complaint about the prequels in general is that they aren't is that they're just 2 hours. Like I want it to be like 10 hours long.
Yeah, I actually would like to. I actually was kind of positing this. Would the prequels have been improved and people have had less problems if it was a TV show rather than a set of 3 movies?
If it was a TV show, then nobody could.
Lost Neph.
Then nobody would be able to like frame it to be a piece of shit. Like they just wouldn't have enough room to stand on. Like most of the criticism of the films are utterly retarded anyway. But a lot of it has to do with the amount of time that's being covered. Like episode 4, 5, and 6 are all like 1 or 2, 3, 5, 6, something like that years from each other. Episode 2 is like 10 years from 1, and 3 is like 4 years from 2. So there's a lot of continuity there that we just simply don't know about. That can lead to a lot of confusion. If we had literally all of that like spelled out to us, then people would not get confused at all. Although, to be fair, I mean...
So I would actually kind of say that, like, I would definitely say that, like, there are a lot of things that I think would have been, like, yeah, I agree with you that they wouldn't have been able to... I think that the major problems is that it feels like there's a lot of missing information because George Lucas was focusing on his visual storytelling rather than the script. Just because like that's just how he thinks. Like he's a very visual person.
Visual storytelling is very powerful.
Yes,
and I believe that like how much of like that stuff affects you like definitely has a lot to do with how good you think the movie is. Like I think Rick Worley put into words what I already knew, kind of. I think a lot of people realized it. I already knew. See, I'm not to be all narcissistical here, but like I've got a pretty high IQ and stuff, and I've always been very sharp. Like literally in the data, like that's what people just keep telling me is that I'm really fucking sharp. So like a lot of the visual like communication and stuff, I always noticed. It's all like it's like once he actually started to talk about it, I was like, wait a minute. So all that stuff that I noticed that like made the movies slightly better every single time, that was not just coincidence. That was intentional. Oh, cool.
Yeah. There are some interesting... Like, I find that George Lucas and Guillermo del Toro are both interesting filmmakers in roughly the same way. But this is actually a good question. So, is the relationship meant to be dangerous and toxic?
God damn it. I don't... All right.
I don't think that it is... I don't think that it is in Attack of the Clones.
I think that Anakin is still very different from me, but if I am to talk about like personal experiences, like I would say that most of his like violent or angry side comes from a desire to control and keep the people he cares about safe and stuff. Like I don't really understand why anyone would use the word toxic on him. Like that seems like a very obvious. I mean, fucking hell, I hate that word toxic, but that seems like a very obvious misunderstanding of his personality. You see, the problem is that a lot of people they see someone like him and they just think, oh, he's whiny. Well, if your life is very confusing and or annoying, then you become very whiny. Like it makes complete sense. It's like it's actually kind of a sad fact that whiny teenagers are like commonly looked at as like that's just something they do, Well, in reality, it just kind of shows that there's a lot of teenagers struggling with depression and stuff like that.
I think kind of in terms of like he quickly escalates the conversations that he is in with, and kind of just starts getting really angry in nearly every conversation he has with, in at least 2 of his conversations with Padme.
Well, I mean, if you look at him, he's sexually frustrated. He's he's not in control. Like in episode 3, he's a lot more smooth about everything. But that's also because he, you can see it. Like it's if you look at how Anakin looks in episode 2, it's like a combination of 1 and 3. Like he's almost the awesome long-haired, slick motherfucker he is in episode 3, but not quite yet. And God knows what he would become like if Palpatine hadn't done what he did. But he's in the process of becoming the man he should be, and like I think anyone who's like at that stage in their life, like I'm pretty sure you guys are all 20 somethings.
I'm 25. So I'm
close enough. I don't know.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah.
I guess the question for you would be like, do you feel vastly superior to yourself, how you were like 5 years ago?
In a lot of ways, in some ways, I feel like certain skill levels that I have become better over the last few years. Like definitely like communication, my writing skills, as well as kind of just the fact that I have 11 books as opposed to 1 book out.
Yeah.
So I suppose so.
I think the thing that a lot of people sleep on is that is that George Lucas, like he wanted to accurately portray what this looks like, and he wasn't scared that people would like he wanted to do it the right way as opposed to, because like I know because like the thing is like Anakin gets angry a lot of times, but it's never without any purpose, like something you might see in like a shitty horror movie or something is just these artificial fights and I can't get my phone or what, like this dumb shit, and like that's a lot of people associate teenage angst and stuff like that to just exclusively be that Neph girl is trying to get in.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry about that. My internet went down again.
That's okay.
It's okay. So I did have a point of clarification that I wanted to ask. So like by it, like, do you mean like Anakin's behavior being accurate? Is that what you mean? I'm just kind of.
I think his behavior is extremely accurate. Like
okay.
Like I've gotten a little bit better over the years, but like a couple of years back when I was struggling with extreme depression and pretty much at the lowest point of my life, honestly, I sounded exactly like he did, just 1 for 1 like him. Like just a broken record complaining about how fucking stupid the entire world is.
So you think that part of it is that Anakin's depressed?
Well, not that necessarily, because I mean he's powerful. He's
emotionally. I think. Would you agree that Anakin is emotionally stunted ever so slightly, or do you think that that's not accurate?
Well, it's, how do I put it? It's like, like if I look at my personal life, like my problem is in my head, like it's to be fair, that's kind of the same thing with him. But I mean, if I was like the opposite of what I am physically, then I know that I would. Well, it's, how do I put it? It's like he can't be as depressed as someone like me or whatever, because he's physically fine. So it's it's a lot of. So it's like I don't think depression really comes into it until like episode 3 or whatever. Like it's, for the most part, it's just being very confused. Like it's like it's mixed signals, mixed messages, mixed everything. Like there's a like something I guess I would criticize about the prequels is they didn't make the Jedi the Jedi's hatred for or I mean their resentment, not hatred, but like their resentment for Anakin was not as obvious as it probably could have been.
The reason why I think like when Mace Windu says the very dangerous putting those two together, I don't think the boy can handle it. I don't trust him. That seems to kind of come out of nowhere in a lot of ways.
No, not completely. Well, okay, I see what you mean. If you're not paying attention, it seems.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, he's friends with Palpatine, yes, but it's kind of just. It seems as though Anakin, to a certain extent, has proven himself.
It seems like Mace Windu all of a sudden paid attention, and like he watched a couple of the scenes beforehand. But it's like we know that was something that was there already for a long time. It just didn't really come into play all that much. But I suppose it's one of the minor like problems with the prequels is that conflict was never very well properly established. Also, didn't really help that they never told us that Mace Windu was essentially like the boss of the Jedi. That would have been nice. Like the story's kind of hazy on it, but like he's essentially the master of the Order. Like that's his title. I read something.
That's Yoda. That's Yoda.
Yeah. I'm getting to that. Like it's very awkward because like I read in Wikipedia that it's like okay, so he was the master. Then episode 2 happens, and then Yoda became the master. But he still had a shit ton of power and was kind of leading the Jedi anyway. So like, did that even do anything? I don't know.
So, well, I guess like there's a good explanation. He's the vice president that actually does something.
I suppose. Mace
Windu is the head of the council. No joke.
Like it's kind of dumb, but I would have almost wished that they gave him some sort of crown or something, because it's really not obvious that he's like a leader or even like a higher level guy. Like I remember when I watched the movie like as a child, I remember thinking like, why does the black guy talk much more than everybody else? Like it was obvious he was like a strong Jedi, but it wasn't obvious that he was like essentially the leader.
Yeah.
But generally like I think that Anakin's portrayal as like with his angst and everything, I think that's almost pitch perfect, and Padme being fine with that. There are girls who can look through all your flaws and still be into you. Like that's. I don't know how that happens, but it's totally possible. Like I don't think it's weird or anything.
Okay. Well, I think that about covers it. Thank you. I think that thank you all for coming. The only thing that I really have to plug is Battle of the Seven Suns is going to be released at the end of next month. So for those of you who have enjoyed Hera's and the Narcissus' adventures from the readings I've given at Writer's Showcase, I will be releasing the book in full at the end of next month.
You wrote a book?
Cool.
Hey, that's when the cicadas finally go away in Maryland. Yay!
Yeah.
I like how you all celebrate, and I'm just like, you wrote a book? What?
I've written and published 11.
Oh, fucking shit. You've made 11 books. Oh, shit.
The cicadas are going to be here for a while now, so we better get used to them.
Yeah.
Wow, I have no idea. To be fair, I barely even know who this guy is. All I know is that he's like all I know from you, Dunn, is that you've like backhandedly like how the fuck? I completely forgot what that word meant. It was I was something along the lines of like you were like encouraging me. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
But
like
yeah,
the cut of
these
my
are all
jeans.
my books. These are all my books.
Yeah.
Ooh, such ungeneric covers.
Yes, they are. Some of them are slightly generic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wish he's stacking up toy.
no worries. I'm actually like totally aware of why that's beneficial. By the way.
Yeah. Well, also because it's cheap, and I don't have the money yet for better things.
An artist.
Yeah.
Often I see like people like who are like on these discords and everything, and it's like I've written something. I just it's not like I'm instantly like, oh, it's gonna be bad, but it's like, okay, so I know this person in real life, and now like if I were to read that, I would probably be nearly impossible to distinguish the story from the guy's personality. Like I would just look for patterns, like just like, oh, he made that character say that because he likes that sort of shit. It was
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would ever be able to do that.
Yeah.
Although I would love to read Shadow of the Conqueror. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Shadow of the Conqueror is great.
Is it great? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to it
Shad.
twice now.
If it ever make it a live action, I want to be a guy that gets like speared to death.
It is getting a live action
Yes,
fan film
it is.
adaptation.
All right. Well, it looks like I have to contact someone.
Yeah.
Replica, can you tell me who's going to win the next Super Bowl? You seem to know these things.
The what?
The Super Bowl. He wants to make
Super
money.
Bowl.
It's
Well, the
What
thing is,
American
ever
football
was in
stuff.
Christ is a Super Bowl. Is that
Yep.
game where those psychopaths run into each other and
replica American football. He's talking about American football.
Oh, American football. That sport that thinks that football belongs to people jumping into each other and not kicking balls.
I don't like. I'm not a fan of sports, but I can make a bunch of money off of it. So tell me.
Let me tell you, Americans, about something funny.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, it's called soccer is called football.
Yeah.
I've known that for a long, long time.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I am falling asleep now. Replica,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, fine. White Dragon. Okay, tell me, which teams are exist?
Well, the thing
Oh
is,
my
you should,
good
I
God.
think
We don't have enough time for that.
you honestly should
Just
have
look.
you should
The
have bet
teams.
pace-
The
you
teams that take the knee are the ones that are gonna lose because God doesn't favor them. I hope you're happy.
So I think basically, if Tom Brady is the quarterback, bet on that one.
The team that has the most.
How did
I'm
we
not
get
gonna
on
say
this
that.
topic?
If I was to bet on a women's soccer team, I would bet on the non-heterosexual.
Okay, fine. All right, fine. If we're gonna go like that, then I'll just get it politically incorrect as well.
Okay.
Team with
Okay.
most might win will win.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Tomorrow is Writer Showcase. Currently, I believe it is Neph, Valerian, Carl Sailor, and Mothmaster. I believe I would have to. I need to
Okay.
I think that those are the people that are coming on for that to share their work. Yeah, that's no worries, Valerian. We are concluding.
All right.
Yeah.
Just like last time, I'm called Replica Films. This name is utter garbage.
You think?
La Replica di Brusa. Yeah. Fucking profile picture.
What game is that from, by the way?
What?
Your picture.
Heart of Evil.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's. Oh yeah. It's Tarek. Yeah. Yeah. It's Tarek. Tarek Buller, Arian, and Neph, and one other person I forget.
Carl Sailor, I think, is in there.
Carl. Yeah. Okay. So
Mhm.
Carl, Tarek, Neph, and Valerian will be tomorrow. And other than that, the only things we will be continuing with the Star Wars series. However, we will stop at TLJ, and Neph and Wise Wolf will probably not watch either Force Awakens or Last Jedi.
No, Force
No.
Awakens completely destroyed the universe for me.
Listen, like I said, the only Disney Star Wars film I will ever watch.
I don't think
I'm
I'm
in there to watch. It's
I
really
don't-
fun.
I don't think it's a good idea for me to watch the sequel trilogy because I know that if I do, then I will be so enraged. I'm going to make Mahler look like a complete and total pussy.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm not discriminating against him. I just.
Well, Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces. They certainly haven't forgotten about her.
I
Yeah,
am
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
triggered right now, Don.
Yeah. You need to inflict that on us.
Yeah, we will. We will. And then the thing you're all been waiting for will be coming out in August. Dragon Blaster.
Yeah.
Dragon Blaster
Yeah.
will be released. Dragon Blaster will be released in mid to late August of 2021.
Hooray! Months of months of annoying and pestering done about it. It's finally paid off.
Is that the book thing we were writing?
I write 5 or 6 at the same time, and I put them on a rotation.
Writing is honestly my weakness. Like, if I gotta be entirely honest.
Yeah. He kicks the living shit out of George, at least when it comes to release dates.
That sounds okay. It's not like I'm bad at writing. It's just that I have this retarded idea that because it's in my head, I will just be able to remember it perpetually.
Yeah,
Which I actually do, but then I forget about tiny things, and that's what messes it all up.
Yeah, sometimes I have to look back through my stuff to make sure I get all the facts straight, especially in my Dragon Lord Annals series. But we will conclude it there. Thank you guys for coming. Dragon Blaster is coming. Do not worry. I need to take another pass at editing it. A couple more passes of editing it, but the cover is finished. Space Junk has done an excellent job making a definitely more non-generic cover. But
hell yeah!
But we will conclude it there. We will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.
See you later.
Bye.